Yeah, now it should work. I'm sorry. Well, let's do this again. Hi, we're looking today into ImagineFX 206. And I just plugged in my microphone, and now we can have a proper conversation. I have to get used to actually let this microphone plugged in. Welcome to everybody who's joined. We have 5 people actually. It's like this little round that gets together in the morning. I really like that. It could become a tradition. Hopefully not for long. These streams, as fun as they are, they kind of like keeping me from doing other stuff. But at the same time, it feels kind of good to have a certain routine. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, covered by the amazing Christoph Young. Always impeccable in execution and also ideas. Looks really good. It's funny because this time the magazine doesn't have a shiny surface. This one is matte. And I like it way more. I like it way more, ImagineFX. Oh, what? There is an Iris Compete poster in it. That's nice. Eye of Newt. Publisher Fantastical Books. Alright. That's pretty cool. I wonder if they paid for this. Yeah, I know. Time zones are fun. I know it might be afternoon for others or the middle of the night for others, so... What do we have here? Concept Art Awards, because awards are important. Patrick O'Keefe, the acclaimed art director, reveals how his rise to the top has taken a few twists and turns along the way. Rise to the top. Alright, Patrick. Learn layer techniques and control color. Alright, rise to the top. I'm sure that wording is not from Patrick. Okay, this promises to be an interesting edition. We have Rafael Sarmento, obviously. We have Carla, we have Christoph, we have Iris Compete, and Patrick O'Keefe. Cool stuff. I have friggin' Pearl Jam stuck in my head. Not in my ass. The Art of Dune, The Legacy of Frank Herbert. Artists share why the desert planet continues to inspire. Really? Turns out that Herbert was an absolute homophobic piece of shit because he also kind of, how do you say, disowned his son when he came out. And apparently he also, how can you say, he turned Vladimir Harkonnen into this gay pedophile thing. He wrote him like that, like dancing around and being all weird. And apparently, in his idea, fabulous, right? So, but he made the gayness of the man part of why he was evil. I had an interesting read the other day about this. It's absolutely horrible. This guy was full of shit. Anyway. Justina is really, really good. Like, her work is always, I find, outstanding and really fitting also for... really fitting for Magic the Gathering. I mean, look at this. It's really good. Yeah. Bex Glendining, William Hallett. Daniel Islas or something. I don't know if I trashed the name again. Andrew Schmendrew Art Thompson. Schmendrew. That's my kind of humor. Khudum. Alright. Never seen this one. This is amazing. What do we have here? A concept for success. Art stars. We hear from the organizers, judges, and winners from this year's Concept Art Awards, which took place at Lightbox Expo Online. Yeah. I don't know if I wanna read this. Yeah, I mean, no offense to anyone being involved in this, and certainly not to Nicole. I still find awards silly. I touched upon that before. I think we talked about it the other day on Discord, right? Where I said I was the award rejecting designer, Spiridon Yanakis, 3 times so far, and probably 4. Anyway, I'm not going into details. I don't want to give this stuff more attention than it deserves. I really don't think awards are a good thing, especially not when it comes to art and design. I really don't think so. It is so friggin' objective. It's like rating art books. I don't really want to know anything about that. The works are great. The works are great. They probably deserve awards. I don't know. There's a really cool video about awards by what's his name? Jim Carrey, that I watch at least once a month, just as a reality check. And it was when he was giving his Golden Globe speech. It was really interesting. Great choice of words and sarcasm. It's on YouTube, you can find it there. Well, hello there, Ian. Craig Mullins, Lifetime Achievement recipient. That's the one award where I think it maybe makes sense. If someone is doing this for a long time and you're just like, hey man, thanks for everything you've done for the cause and all that, that's something, because there you are not awarding a single piece of design or art or something like that. It's more about what the person has done for the cause, right? For the big picture. That's something I can get behind. I like that. That's acknowledgement. That's less of an award. But anyway, for me that makes sense. A day in the life of KLA Ortiz, currently in Amsterdam. Art Life Concept Art Award nominee KLA Ortiz on taking things slower and maintaining a fitness plan. All right, let's dive into that. That's something I want to read. Yeah. I've been working remotely for most of my 10 years in the industry, but there have been some shifts in my routine because of COVID, says KLA Ortiz. The artist is usually up around 9 a.m., but admits she's trying to rise earlier because one of the things that's really important to me is having my mornings to myself. Lately, she's begun bullet journaling what's important for the day ahead. I write down my thoughts, she says, meetings, or things that I need to do. And it's a very meditative moment, and I need that. My brain gets overwhelmed if I'm just like, all right, get up, go. I need time. All right, apparently just my prints are finally finished. Now I need to look through them and see if they're all good, and then I can send them to the printer, and Black Dragon Crown will have its giclée prints. Yes, we're going ahead. Kara's normal working day starts between 10:30 and 12 p.m. She'll then work straight through until the evening. Ahead of that stretch of painting, she'll warm up in Photoshop. I rarely start with a blank canvas. Usually I'll have a lot of references and doodles up, she says. Carla can go from 4 to 7 hours of focused work explaining. With intentional painting, it takes a lot of brain power to make sure that every brush stroke is exactly where you want it to be, and that can fatigue like any muscle in the body. Balancing how long to work and when and how to rest is important to Carla. She elaborates, I went down this rabbit hole of like, okay, if we were to treat our brain as a muscle, and we're using our brain muscle in the same way that an athlete would use their muscles, how long do athletes train for? At the top Olympic level, athletes train for about 4 to 5 hours maximum. Any more than that, and they risk injury, overtraining, and they need rest just as much as anyone else in order to perform well. Carla believes we should treat our brain like an athlete considers their muscles. The artist's 6 hours of focused work result in a perfect zone that lies between hour 2 and hour 5. I'm just on it. My brain is really thinking it through. To help, Carla uses a timer to remind her to take breaks. Suffering from RSI, repetitive strain injury, she needs to avoid overworking her arms and fingers through repetitive motion, and regular breaks work best. To help with her RSI and mental health, Carla takes a break 3 times a week for strength training for an hour. Around 3 p.m., her personal trainer will come to the house. That's been one of the things that I've been pushing myself to do because it's so easy for me to just not do anything. If I don't work out, then arm pains and hand pains start to come in, and then I'm not as effective anymore. Carla will work until around 8 p.m. before breaking for dinner and catching up with her boyfriend. Then, depending on deadlines, she might go back to work for a couple of hours. But COVID has made her reevaluate life. I've been trying hard to avoid extra work. I've been trying to relax after dinner, read a book, or play video games just because I like them. I think COVID made a lot of us rethink our lifestyles, and how we operate. I used to be very go, 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 and always had my schedule full. Now, one of my goals has been to make time for either very few clients or for myself and my personal art. Carla's life is one of finding balance in everything she does, so it's no surprise her advice follows a similar path. My main advice for people working in the industry is that it's important to give yourself time to rest and allow time for things other than art. You need to nourish your creative soul and make sure you're doing art that's really personal and just for you. For those looking to get into the industry, Carla says, it's important to connect with those that just got in, not just the people that have a lot of experience. They are sometimes better positioned to give you advice. But most importantly, be resilient and patient. It takes time to get your work to a standard that's professional. It takes time to be seen. It takes time to build the relationships that will continue for the rest of your career, and be kind online and offline. Good advice. Career highlights. Don't stop believing. Something wicked. Fairy artist and author Iris Compit shares how she almost gave up on art before giving into her passion. Iris Compit had been drawing and painting, taking commissions and following the trends, doing digital, but nothing was happening. Nothing, she says, telling herself at the time, I suck at this, I will never be an artist. I will never have a career. Yeah, we talked about this, right? Yeah. This was the low point, but also the moment when everything changed. Settling on the idea she'll never be a proper artist led her to switch tracks and just create art for me. Iris says, I felt like giving myself permission to be myself, my genuine, authentic self in my art instead of a watered-down version of everybody else. I'm going to be the artist I wanted to be as a 7-year-old kid. I want to create art because I want to do it and for no one else. It was one of those brave decisions life forces upon us. That was the magic moment, says Iris, because that was the moment I started doing weird mermaid sketches. Then all those fairies popped up. I started telling stories, and people were asking me, like, what are you going to do with these stories? Iris first released her own book, Fairies of the Fault Lines as a Kickstarter, but now it's now being republished with new content by Eye of the Newt Books. It's a beautiful illustrated compendium of fairy folklore. Her creatures are fun, twisted, and sketchy, but believable. They are inspired by the places Iris visits. A nook in a tree or a muddy pool can be interpreted as a hiding place for a fairy or two. It's a book designed to be packed away and referenced when you're out and about. To rekindle that love of fantasy like you did as a child, says the artist. Iris wants us to tap into that creative, innocent part of our brains that enables us to repraise the world, to see a giant in the role of a hill, so it's more of a guide or a spark of imagination. I really think I want to do a flip through of Iris' book. There's some of my favorite books. You know, I'm a sucker for people, for artists who know graphic design. So, this was the original one, which I honestly prefer. Like, this is the good stuff. It's exactly how it should look also, you know. Like, I really want to make a flip through, I think, of this. And this is the new one with a dust jacket. Ugh. Yes, I hate dust jackets, but anyway, this is so much nicer. But yeah, dust jacket. That's the bigger edition and all that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make a flip through and we can compare and stuff. So yeah, that's it. Anyway, where were we? Settled in. Set in her studio surrounded by shelves of skulls, puppet heads, and sculptures, Iris had found her place. Her workspace is situated in the attic of her house, and as such there are no straight walls. Everything is slanted and skewed, including her homemade shelves. A comfy sofa offers a space to read and reflect. Stacks of paper and art materials fill one wall. These are her obsession. It's just a complete and utter mess she loves. Fittingly, her process is messy. Iris puts pen to paper and lets the fairies emerge. After a handful of lines, a form emerges, and this forms a story. And then more details take shape. All of a sudden, something that I've witnessed 2 weeks ago will find its way to my paper, shares Iris. Sometimes, she tells us, it could be an experience going back 5 years, an idea at the back of her mind, a doodle or a note in her sketchbook could inform the painting. Occasionally, the idea will be insistent and forceful. She has to run home and draw it out of her system. They scream to me. That's the story I need to tell right now. It's chaotic, she laughs, but I've come to accept it. Iris talks about her art like a storyteller. Each painting speaks to her and reveals a narrative and a reason to exist. Each fairy she paints has a little bit of her in it, confesses Iris. She paints alone, muttering and talking to the canvas. She pulls faces and etches out the characters from random lines, the happy accidents that occur as the materials blend. People will think I'm crazy. I know it sounds weird, she says in a moment of self-realization. But it comes alive in my paper and I see things move and I see things. It's breathing life into a piece. The closer she can get to her painting, the better. Iris always uses paint mixed from natural ingredients. It's a nature spirit created with nature. She says, explaining that all of her fairies are created from watercolor or pencil because that's as close to nature as you can get. Going further, she has used the resources around her to create her art. In Iceland, she used water from pools and waterfalls to mix her colors. Imbuing some of the nature around me in the piece, she says, Iris has even begun to create her own materials, detailing how she collected stones in Iceland to crush into dust to use to create her own paints. The reprinted Fairies of the Fault Lines is out now from Eye of the Newt. Order it and you there you go. Oh my god, I never had to go. Yeah, right. That's the problem with fucking dust jackets. They hide the book. It's about, oh, it's no, it's not protecting. If the book needs protection from a dust jacket, then it's like with a phone, you know? You buy a phone and then you buy a phone case. If the design was correct, I wouldn't need a phone case, you know? It's the same with books. When new worlds collide, culture clash, mixing influences can be challenging. Ian Dean meets the art directors behind Amazon Games' New World. Amazon Games' New World? Ah, New World. That's actually the name. Is this out yet? François Gauthier. Light and Shade. The French artist reveals where he uses his inking skills to translate some of his fears and sorrows into intricate line art. Yeah, that's probably how an office should look like. A little bit messy. Letters, your feedback and opinions. Reached out about this in the past and it was never addressed, but I have been buying your magazine literally since the first issue and I'm a big fan of the spin-offs, especially the sketchbook series. However, they kind of went downhill and greatly lost their way, with especially issue 5 being almost identical to issue 4 and featuring nearly all the same work. After that, the series has gone back to re-releasing the first special edition all over again. Is there any chance of this getting on? Hi Andrew, we have 5 sketchbook specials all up. Each edition has a new content, but we reprint them and often create new covers. So sorry for any confusion. I would expect it sticks to one. What? I love it when people say you lost your way, or someone said the same shit about hardcover, like the publishers forgot what it's about. Are you fucking kidding me? It's my book. Forgot what it's about. I will let you tell me. The Art of Patrick O'Keefe. Indian meets the artist who keeps things simple, even in the complex world of Spider-Man. Patrick is fun to be around. I can tell you that. I have a couple of signed prints in my son's room upstairs. My son has all the cool shit anyway. Like all the signed Marvel stuff that I have and I get lands up in his room, and I think he doesn't give a shit about it, but it's still there. I know it's there, and I know it makes more sense than being just in my shelf. But he has like all kinds of signed prints by artists. He even has like posters that Yana sent me from the entire Marvel studio artists. You know, Anthony Francisco and all these people. Like Andy Park, they all signed all these posters he has, and we didn't even put up half of them. I look for, hey, this is one of the ones I have. I look for artists that can bring a new point of view to production. All right. Oh wow. Tristan Tate. Cookie characters and a couple of unsettling clowns come to life in the pages of this prolific illustrator sketchbook. Looks nice. Wanted to watch one live in peace and be on time and have been interrupted by work at least 7 times so far. Once again, I've missed upload. It's okay. I mean, I'm uploading this, so no problem. Discover how Christoph Young sketches lines and paints a compelling concept of a diesel punk samurai character. It's funny, I love diesel punk. I don't like steampunk. The difference shouldn't be too much because, I mean, in the end, the fuel is the difference, but the appeal, the entire idea behind it is just so different. So, yeah. I think diesel punk is actually amazing. The stuff that Björn Huri has done in this regard is really good. Balance color with line art. Lauren Brown shows how she applies composition and painting techniques to create Nouveau-inspired art. That's beautiful. Isis Sousa. She's like the third time in this, right? She's been in the past once too. Anton Fadif. In this workshop, Rafael Sarmento explains how to rework an older idea, creating a new illustration in the process. Have you met Rafael? He's so friggin' nice. He was tearing up when we met at Lightbox. It was a really emotional man, and I think that's lovely. I'm the same. Hold on. Obliscura. Hold on, are they? They are reviewing my book. What's so they're they're reviewing my book. What's it gonna have? 2 stars? What's it gonna be? Are they gonna shit on the production? What do we have? Meets the grade, Obliscura. 3 stars! Nature painting in watercolor going green. Well, well, well. Well, of course, this James Gurney thing will get 5 stars, right? You know what? Let's read it. Remember, yesterday we were looking through... Hold on, I still have it here. Yesterday we were looking through their book review, and they had Worlds by Raphael Lacoste, right? And it has 3 stars. And the description of it was just like, it's amazing, it's great, and all that, and it got 3 stars. Let's see what they say here. Successfully kickstarted into life earlier this year, Alex Konstad's handsome, albeit expensive hardback introduces the reader to a distinctive world of dark fantasy. We are amongst the fucking cheapest art books out there. I'm not kidding. The veteran illustrator and concept artist has worked for the likes of Netflix, Blizzard Entertainment, and Games Workshop. Aspects of his personal style can be seen in his client work, but in Obliscura, the artist has been given full reign to build a compelling, fantastical setting. Across 200 A4-sized pages, there are multi-limbed, outlandish figures, armored beasts of burden and verdant landscapes. Wow. Yeah. While there's a huge range of original designs on show, Alex has maintained consistency through his use of lighting and colors. It's a great opportunity to study and enjoy the artist's work offline. Accompanying each artwork is a caption or prose from the artist to further build up the atmosphere. One small complaint is the book's black paper stock. While it offers a unique feel, this can result in Alex's art appearing a little muddled on occasion. Overall, though, this art book's personal project is worth a closer look. Black paper stock? Black paper stock? This has not... I mean, first of all, the worst thing about it is that this is not centered. That's like one of the probably the biggest fuck up I've ever made with an art book. And it hurts me. Yeah, and we did some neat stuff like, oh, wait. So we did the black edges thing in the book, right? And here we used black paper, obviously. But this wasn't black paper. This is white paper. And we just colored the edges. You can fucking see that it's white. What about this is too dark? This was printed on white paper. This was printed on white paper. And no mentions of all the fucking work that Viktor Pushkarev did, right? This is not... This is something that Viktor did. And it's fucking amazing. And even the black is not... We didn't do the full black thing. We didn't do rich black. This is just plain black, right? So it's not too dark, actually. And also, you can still see the texture. First of all, of the paper and all that, but also, you know, there's a little texture that we printed over it. It is... You can see every fucking detail. Like, how is this too dark? It's exactly how... Anyway. Yeah. I'm gonna sound... Well, 3 stars for a book where they're like, one small complaint is the book's black paper stock. 3... Alright. Yeah. I it sounds like sour grapes and it sounds like I'm bitter and all that. I kind of am a bit... I mean... I'm not really angry. I'm just thinking like... It would have been nice to at least... If you at least got it right. Because if you want to rate stuff, I don't give a shit anyway, but... If your small complaint is the book's black paper stock, then you have no idea how art books work. This wasn't printed on black paper stock. Anyway, moving on. Yum yum. Zakuro Aoyama. And I wonder if there are more reviews like that of my books. Melissa Sue Stanley. Oh, this is cute. Improve your comic panel skills. David Orellana. Or David Orellana. I don't know. Probably not. I believe it was my very first book of yours. I love it. Yeah. Thank you. I love it too. Looking back at how it was produced and all that, I had all the right intentions. But if I wouldn't have used that black paper stock, then maybe I could have gotten 5 stars or something. At least 4. Yeah. First impressions, Serena Malion. Exploring her own personal challenges has helped this artist. Isn't personal already own? Is own personal not one me too much? How did your childhood influence you? I grew up in Calgary, Alberta. I was lucky enough to grow up with the Rocky Mountains in view, and I was always awestruck by the dramatic weather and sunsets. We have a lot of extreme weather, but it's often grand and inspiring too. I come from a fairly creative family, and they always encouraged me to try new things and find ways to express myself. Their encouragement has helped giving me a strong artistic voice and given me the confidence to do this as a career. Is there a painting that caught your imagination when growing up? When I was 10, I had to do a project on Michelangelo for school. I ended up poring over the Sistine Chapel ceiling for ages, astonished that a person could have made such a masterpiece. That was when I really started paying attention to art and tried improving my skills. What was your first paid commission like? My first job was with a local magazine. It was a big job and they took a chance on me. They needed 7 interiors and a cover in about 11 days. I worked overtime on that job, agonizing about it. The interiors aren't up to my current standard due to the tight deadline, but I'm still proud of the cover. What was the last piece that you finished? Awakening is my latest piece, and it was a personal project about my identity. I have much greater confidence in my artistic vision these days and find it much easier to make works that reflect aspects of myself. Awakening is my purest expression of myself. It's the most vulnerable I've been putting my bi-pan orientation out into the world for pride. But even in my other personal work, I try to explore aspects of myself, good and bad, and my place in the world. How has the industry changed? Social media is everything. No longer do I have to rely on a few big publishers seeing my work. I get contacted by all sorts of people for private commissions and projects with self-publishing, Kickstarters, indie games, and so on. The world of freelance illustration has really opened up. It takes time to find your audience, but there's enough work for everyone. How ironic. What advice would you give to your younger self to aid you on the way? Stop being so nervous and stop being so nervous and just show people your work. People can't hire you if they don't know you exist. So get your work out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do you have a portfolio painting that means a lot to you and why? My artwork Tokens comes to mind. It's about loss and remembrance, carrying tokens of our loved ones with us on our journey. What is your next step in either your art or in life? In the past few years, I've been doing some world building in my personal projects. I'd love to keep fleshing out my world of giants and find a way to bring my story to life. I have so many ideas for it and not enough time, but hopefully I'll get to do something with it soon. Don't mind much about own personal English is weird, even the English says so. Nervousness intensifies, yeah. And the Proco, but there we go. It's really nice this cover here, this matte thing. I think they should have, I don't know, maybe they do. I haven't really checked the follow-ups. But this is nice. This is nice. This is much better than the glossy stuff because it's a thin one and it gets kind of wrinkly. But this is nice. We're done. I think I want to really do a little flip through Iris' book. We also are going to see this week probably still a review of Rambert Montal's book, as I said yesterday. I just announced the winner of the Artbook. It's the Blue Pangolin account thing on the... I could just fucking go face only. Anyway. There's this this account, and she won a copy of Decade. Thank you everybody for commenting. I was actually surprised how many people were going for it, and how many people were familiar with what we're doing. But then again, it's weird. It's also weird to fucking understand how many people actually buy your books, because if you read 2,000, that's a number, right? But if you see how many people 2,000 people are, then it's quite different, and it's amazing. And I'm really thankful and I'm humbled that so many people like what I'm doing. it's something that I keep telling artists to be aware of, and of course, giving advice is much easier than actually applying it to yourself. Anyway, with that in mind, and that is a final statement, I'm going to move on to work. Thank you everybody for joining this stream. Thanks to all my patrons for supporting me with all this bullshit that I'm doing. I think I'm doing much better and living up to the expectations of that account right now. I'm doing regular videos. I'm writing about stuff. But anyway, I want to also start talking more about my course and including some more insight into how to make art books and how to do good crowdfunding. Until next week, I'm going to start streaming again on Monday, I believe. But I will let you know over Discord if that's happening, and probably also over social media. I just reached 10,000 followers on Instagram, and now I am enough. Now, quoting Jim Carrey here with this video. You have to check out the video. Just look on YouTube and go for Jim Carrey Golden Globe speech, and you will find this one. It's absolutely brilliant and tells you everything about awards that it needs to. All right. I wish you a great weekend, and talk to you on Monday. Until then, bye-bye.